Hi everybody. A very interesting topic is there in general studies too, polity, that is called pressure group. And you know that India is a hub of pressure groups, and every day one other pressure groups is asserting their voice, asserting their power, and it is trying to influence government policies. So therefore, questions from these areas is very expected, very common. And what does the pressure group means? Pressure group is not a political party. Okay, pressure group is not an interest group. Pressure group is a group which pressurizes. Okay, and even though they pressurizes, they don't aim to capture political power or form government. The moment they are not pressurizing, they are reduced to be interest groups, and the moment they try to capture political power, they become political party. In between that position is called pressure group, which is pressurizing at the same time, which is not trying to capture the political power or form a government. So pressure groups are associations that aim to influence government politics, government and politics. They try to influence it, in their favor in various ways. They benefit government and state institutions. It's not that they only benefit them, but sometimes even government gets benefited because of their agitations and lobbying. They do it through debates, they do it through information sharing, lobbying, and various other modes. They adopt different techniques. Okay, they can be very peaceful means, or they can be very volatile, very violent. So different forms they can take. What is now the concept of polity? Now the question may come that what is the impact of pressure groups in Indian polity? Now we all talk about polity, GS2 paper is polity paper. What does this polity mean? We must be very clear about it. Is polity political system? Is polity society? Is polity India? What does this polity mean? Polity encapsulates many organizations, many processes, and many entities into it. So polity is many things within this, the concept. It is a form of or process of civil government. It can be any group of people organized for governance, or it can be an organized society, working in a political system. State is an organized society, and in an identifiable political entity, and therefore Indian state is also an Indian polity. So therefore Indian state and Indian polity is not similar, because polity includes the organizations that are existing within Indian state, various processes that operates or function within Indian system. Altogether is polity. Now polity and society, what is the difference between them? Okay, this also is very important area, because before going to discuss further on pressure group, polity and society, while social relationship centers around social characters, social institutions, and social concerns. So that is what is society. Okay, and in social domain. So they remain within social domain, their social relationships, total personalities, they function there. That is called social relationship. When such relationship, that social relationship involves on the issues of power and authority, political power, political authority, governments, they start to analyzing government, whether to support it, to oppose it, to remain indifferent, to critical about it. Then social relationship slowly becomes a political relationship. So that is when that social group becomes part of the Indian polity. So these parts should be very clear in your mind, and this can happen based on new consciousness. Definitely, new consciousness of right, equality, justice, and so many other things, freedom, and other such considerations, and many other such considerations are there. Deprivation, discrimination, and social and political interactions then begins, and that interactions then becomes a part of the subject of the study of polity. Interactions with political characters, political institutions, political concerns, political domain then happens. So therefore social and political, they start interacting among themselves, and that is where the polity, subject of polity or discussion of polity comes in. In that situation, state, citizenship, constitution, governance, institutional authority, etc., so many things become important part of the discussion. And that, that discussion, okay, that network of discussion or that multifaceted discussion is called a polity discussion. Now, pressure groups are there in polity. In that, pressure groups play a role. Okay, so pressure groups is that role which transforms that social relationship into, they take it to the political domain and make it a subject of Indian polity. Pressure groups play a role here. It can be formal, it can be informal, it can be organized, it can be loosely formed network. So different kind of pressure groups can be there. This can be very, very short-lived or very, very long-lived, very hierarchical, very horizontal. Different kinds of pressure groups can be there. That can be a part of different discussion. Now, pressure groups are found in both democratic countries and non-democratic society. So pressure groups will be everywhere, even in socialist country where there is only one party, one ideology. Even there you will see the pressure groups are definitely existing. So therefore, pressure group has an omnipresence in political system and society. In plural society, the pressure groups enjoy more freedom. A country like India, pressure groups will have more space to assert their voices, to express their grievances or bargain with the government. Even in the socialist country, as I said, that pressure groups takes that role. Therefore, Indian kind of country will give more space and freedom to pressure groups. Fine. They can be as cultural organization, they can be as trade unions, like Pravasi Bharatiya organization is a cultural organization, or maybe Gurudwara Sikh Prabandhak Committee is a cultural or socio or religio-cultural organization. But there can be also INTUC or AITUC kind of trade union organization. They mostly, can take sometime an advisory role. Okay, sometimes they can play a very, very proactive role. Now there is electoral activity, okay, and a citizens group basically for persuasion. So citizens group can come that why not include the names in the voter list, all these things they can do. So with the, when the election is coming up, then use of economic power, CII for support and advice, okay, Confederation of Indian Industries can have a role. Public information campaign, information dissemination advice, okay, they will be giving that these things should be, there should be citizens charter, this must be consulted with the citizens, we have not come to know, all kind of things they can do. Then litigation, consumer association can go to the court, okay, they can go to the, or an environmental group can go to the court, many other trade union even can go to the court, various other professional bodies can go to the court. Then sometimes they can be very, very violent, very, very disruptive, okay, they can coerce government to take certain decisions. There can be large organizations, there can be large pressure groups, there can be also small localized pressure groups. Okay, now localized pressure groups can be innumerable in number. Okay, every day they can be, established, and they can be, they may disappear. But there are certain large organized pressure groups which take time to get formed, and also they take time to, disappear or, get away from the situation. Like peasant groups, worker groups, employees organizations, doctors associations, students federation, then small informal but powerful groups. There are a lot of very informal, maybe traders associations, small traders, very, very powerful group can be. And then there can be caste groups, there can be minority groups, minority associations, there can be linguistic groups. They may be very, very large in number and very, very stable, permanent in nature. Now, what is the impact, okay, of the pressure groups in Indian politics or Indian political system? It can have impact on policy framework, It can have impact on policy framework, on economic planning, on development programs. For example, that recently ended farmers movement, we have seen that finally the government has repealed the farm laws. So students movement, we have seen that last over around 2 years it has been going on. It has gone up to the Supreme Court, that is regarding the EWS on OBC quota in NEET exam. Then there is OBC movement. Right now a lot of lobbying is going on whether caste census should be there or there should not be caste census. And then women's movements, we have seen that there is a lot of movement on sexual harassment in workplace. Then there is Me Too movement, and then reservation of women in various bodies. Okay, so it was sometimes very, very pressurizing to the government. Then there has been environmental movement. A major landmark movement of environment is Chipko movement, where Gaura Devi and other ladies, they just spontaneously came and chipkoed, embraced the trees to prevent Seaman and company to cut the trees. So from there, a movement started. And then definitely you have seen that a lot of citizens groups have organized movements through years to introduce CNG to reduce the pollution, air pollution level in Delhi and other cities, and as a result government has finally shifted to CNG and Euro 4 standard of the vehicles. There is a nice question, it came just this year 2021. Pressure groups play a vital role in influencing public policy making in India. Explain how the business associations contribute to public policies. Okay. Now the pressure groups play a vital role in influencing public policy making in India. Whatever we have discussed earlier, that can be covered in that portion of the answer. And the other portion explains how the business associations can contribute to public policies. We have to show the corporate sectors, how they discuss with government for single window licensing system, for better streamlining of GST or the permit or the licensing system. Then there are MSME sector which are again and again demanding, please simplify GST because we are getting problem, we don't have that much manpower and time to fill up so many forms. And then political parties often raise or debate the issues in a region during the political campaign that suits the community of the region of West UP, Marathwada, northeastern states. So these kind of things also happen. So according to the specific need of the business groups there, the business groups find also they organize summits, the conferences to where they invite government officials, ministers, and they discuss with them, and that way they try to influence. So this question has two parts. One part is public policy making role in the pressure groups, that we discussed, whatever we discussed before this, and then we'll discuss about corporate sector like CII, FICCI, and many other organizations, and also MSME sector is a major role they are taking, because they think that because of the pandemic they are suffering, their GST very complicated system they are suffering. So government and these groups, these trader groups are negotiation is going on, and they are trying to evolve new methodologies to make the situation or the processes more simpler. There is FICCI, like then Indian Chambers and Commerce and Industry. A lot of groups are there. Everybody tries to organize it in a different way. Another question that is also very interesting, that is, how do pressure groups influence Indian political process? Okay, how do pressure groups influence Indian political process? Now, what they do, they through these pressure groups, new leadership comes. They sometimes they become the reason for fractured mandates in the elections. They are the reasons for different regional parties to get more votes, more seats, and therefore both the state level and the central level coalition government has become almost a pattern now. And then rise of regional parties, because of that the various regional parties they come up. Then most of the regional parties, you will see that at one point of time their leaders were in one or other pressure groups. And then they influence the center-state relations in different ways, and they also matter in the election results. The new local and regional and national agenda, because of them, different kind of local agenda, different kind of regional agenda, different kind of national agenda also come up. So this way they influence and impact the political process. And along with that, they also influence in changing of the law. Now, what are the characteristics, features of informal pressure group? Because if you look at the question, it talks about informal, powerful than formal pressure groups. View that informal pressure groups. Now, informal pressure groups, you will have to understand, because most of the places you will see the discussion about formal pressure groups. But informal pressure group is really a major factor. Now, what are those informal pressure groups? They are spontaneous. They are short-lived groups. They don't have hierarchical structure. They can be temporary formation with large pressure groups, within large pressure groups. So that means a trade union, under that there can be a small groups. There can be even government. There can be a small groups. They come up for this short-lived thing to negotiate for their own benefits and problems. So, it can be within larger private organizations and government organizations. So, these are the characteristic features of the informal pressure group. Okay. Now, why informal pressure groups are formed? Why informal pressure groups are really formed? See that one is geographical proximity. Okay, like there is no electricity, no water, no development in this area, therefore we will not give vote. In such situation, it is geographical proximity. Then there can be issues and concerns, like in Andhra Pradesh, there was a major anti-liquor movement by women for some time. So it is absolutely based on issues and concerns. The moment government takes a decision about that, immediately that movement disappears. Then environment movement, as I said, that Chipko is an important milestone in that, where Gaura Devi's protest against Seaman and company came up spontaneously, and it was not an organized movement initially. And then there are social identity movements. We have seen always, every day we are seeing caste-based movement, tribal movement, indigenous peoples movement. So these are all social identities movement. They bring out an issue. Once that issue is resolved, then definitely there is no reason for their particular movement to continue further. And then there are ethnic identity movement. You have seen that on the movie, whether it is Padmavati or Padmavat, there was a movement. And there is another movie, right now it is going on Akshay Kumar's movie Prithviraj, whether the name should be Prithviraj or Samrat Prithviraj Chauhan. So on that, some people, they have been agitating. So once that is solved, then that existence of that particular group may not remain relevant. And then harassment of women, okay, as long as Nirbhaya movement was going on, until these people were punished, the Nirbhaya movement was continuing, and once that problem is solved, then definitely Nirbhaya movement also loses the relevance to exist. Then there is parents association. Right now, many states, the parents are, agitating. They are lobbying with the government. Please open the school, because already 2 years are there. Over the schools are closed. And you have seen that NEET movement, which has gone up to the court, which I mentioned earlier also. The medical aspirants, they agitated on the NEET. And then there Anna Hazare movement, India against corruption movement, and after the Lokayukt and other things have happened, then definitely Anna Hazare's movement, its intensity, its importance has declined drastically. And then Sanjukta Kisan Morcha. The Sanjukta Kisan Morcha is an alliance of different peasant groups. Those peasant groups are hierarchical or permanent in nature, but Sanjukta Morcha is an alliance, is a coalition. So that is their only common minimum program they had. So that is that withdrawal of the farm laws. The moment withdrawal of the farm laws are there, all the organizations have gone back, and the Sanjukta Kisan Morcha, that intensity of that does not exist. This is how pressure groups in India they function. So I believe you get an idea that particularly what I wanted to tell you is about the informal pressure groups, because informal pressure group and understanding about them is more crucial, because formal pressure groups are visible, but informal pressure groups are not often so visible, and they may not be existing for a longer time. So thank you very much. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please get back to me. Thank you very much.